Hello, hello, and welcome back to the show. It's been a really long week since we last spoke, and so much has happened. So grab your coffee and get ready because we are jumping right into everything that went on in Hollywood this past week. Here's what you missed. We lost Jason Hitch from 90 Day Fiancé due to COVID-19 complications. We also lost Denver Broncos' Demaryius Thomas, though the cause of death is still a little bit up in the air. He was very young. Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna are back in court. Kelly Clarkson is back on dating apps. Eminem's daughter Hailey is engaged. Kim Kardashian finally passed the baby bar exam after failing it 3 times. Billie Eilish claims porn corrupted her brain, and we're trying to figure out if Dakota Johnson loves or hates limes. Meanwhile, Miranda Cosgrove and Josh Peck reunited for the iCarly reboot. Whose Line Is It Anyway star Ryan Stiles' daughter just beat cancer, hell yeah. Taylor Swift turned 32, and there's a Peacock documentary being made about the aftermath of Gabby Petito's death. Chrishell Strauss is rocking brown hair, and Armie Hammer has left a treatment facility after staying there for a few months to get rehab. Plus, Scott Peterson has been resentenced to life in prison after serving his first 15 years for the death of his wife Stacey, as he should. And while Scott Peterson is begging to go back to a normal life, Kanye West is begging for Kim to come back to him. Let's keep in mind that Kim filed for divorce earlier this year, and while this is still ongoing, they both have been dating other people. But this past week during a benefit concert in Los Angeles, he made it very clear that he wants her back by displaying an over-the-top public plea for her to come back to him. He was performing his song Runaway, and he changed the lyrics to say, quote, "I need you to run back to me, more specifically, Kimberly," unquote. And while many women would absolutely love this, she actually was furious. So upset, in fact, that just hours after the news broke, she filed a petition to legally become single and change her last name back from Kardashian West to just Kardashian. A source told The Sun that she was upset because she specifically asked him not to talk about their relationship in public. And while I'm typically on her side, or at least not Kanye's side, she did just perform a whole SNL monologue basically making fun of her marriage, so I'm not sure that she has the right to say that. The source says that she's upset because, quote, he hasn't been seriously begging for her back. He just doesn't want her to move on. She feels like he thinks he owns her, so she wants to make it abundantly clear what she won't tolerate anymore. They both have moved on, and for her, there's no going back. She's much happier now, unquote. The same source also claims that this has absolutely nothing to do with her relationship with Pete Davidson, which brings me to my next headline. He and Miley Cyrus recently went on the Jimmy Fallon show, proving that they are a duo we did not know we needed. So much so that there's speculation that they are now a thing. And Kim has even weighed in on this. So we know Miley kind of likes to stir the pot, but honestly, the two of them make way more sense to me than Kim and Pete. Anyways, they are promoting a New Year's Eve show that they're going to be doing together, and to promote this, she made a post saying that they were, quote, official, again, stirring the pot and playing on the words. Of course, this caused a buzz. During their time on Jimmy Fallon, she also performed Should Have Been Me, changing the name in the song to Pete and calling him out specifically, also not breaking eye contact for the entire duration of the song. She sang right in his face. So is there something we missed here? Was this a thing at one point that kind of flew under our radar? In the song, she also pokes fun at his outings with Kim Kardashian, but the good news is that Pete was laughing the entire time, and Kim's reaction was far from her normal. She actually just reacted by liking all of Miley's posts and all of the promotion posts, so she isn't going to let this trolling get to her. But no one in Hollywood is going to get trolled as much as Ben Affleck, and you know what? He should be. We all remember when Jennifer Garner left him, and that was for many reasons, one of which was his drinking. And he started seeing Jennifer Lopez pretty shortly after, but was still saying that he wants his wife back and regrets letting the marriage end and whatnot, right? We remember that. Well, now, after Jennifer Lopez has brought him back into the spotlight and away from the sad sweatpants, cigarettes, and Dunkin' coffee memes, he's saying the absolute opposite. To be specific, he's actually saying he was so miserable in his marriage and felt so trapped that it caused him to start drinking. And if he were still with Jennifer Gardner, that he thinks he would still be drinking. Like, chill, dude. We get that you're with an A-lister now, and we get that headlines are all about you and her, but this is the mother of your children. Anyway, on the Howard Stern show, he said, quote, "Part of why I started drinking was because I was trapped. I'd probably still be drinking had we not split. I was like, I can't leave because of my kids. I'm not happy. What do I do? And what I did was drink a bottle of scotch and fall asleep on the couch, which turned out not to be the solution." Unquote. And all of this comes after being together for 10 years and sharing 3 kids. I mean, I know social media isn't everything, but I do find it hard to believe that she was the root of his issues. And most of the internet agrees. He got a ton of negative responses from this, and most people feel like it's a total cop out, like he's blaming her for his issues. Others are fleeing to her page to hype her up, and the confusion comes from the fact that he spoke so highly of her when they were first separated, up until he was with JLo. So I want to know, what do you think about this? Write into the show and let me know. Other crazy news this week is the New Yorker's profile on Jeremy Strong. Basically, they slander the Succession star by saying that he was way too much of a method actor for the show, almost calling him an asshole. This really triggered a ton of stars who've worked with him in the past. Those stars spoke against the New Yorker. Stars like Anne Hathaway, Aaron Sorkin, Adam McKay, and Jessica Chastain say that the article was, quote, "a distorted picture of Jeremy that asks us to roll our eyes at his acting process," unquote. Of course, the New Yorker responded to this by saying that they felt it was a portrayal of him that was dedicated and multi-sided. They also claim that it's inspired a range of reflections from people, including many who say they're even more impressed by Jeremy Strong's artistry after having read their article. So I have a feeling that this might be the last profile that writer does for quite some time. Alright, let's get into some court news. Jussie Smollett has officially been found guilty of falsely reporting a hate crime on himself, which is punishable by up to 3 years in prison. I'm very aware that I might have said his name wrong. Some people call him Juicy, some people call him Jesse, some people call him Jussie. And honestly, I don't care that I'm not getting it right, because listen to this. He's under fire for wasting police resources. During trial, he held to his story, of which is kind of scary given the literal video evidence that he faked it. Yes, it is a low-level felony, but this has definitely killed his career in Hollywood, as it should. Because what this means is, after months of this going on, and him holding true to the story, he's actually a compulsive liar. Many wonder why he did it in the first place. Well, the only answer that I can think of, and what many have said, is to get attention, I guess. I'm not sure what else it could be. What they're actually charging him with is what he'll likely get jail time for, and that's disorderly conduct. Basically, what they've concluded from this trial is that the Empire actor hired 2 men to stage an assault and claimed that it was racially driven and homophobic. The 2 men say that they were paid $3,500 to place a noose around the actor's neck and call him names, and they proved that this was set up by showing texts between the actor and the 2 men just days before the attack and watching security footage of him pulling up to their residence to start the attack. Not only did the case draw attention from all over the world, but now the trial is doing the same. If he's seeking fame, he definitely found infamy. And speaking of infamy, the great news that I have this week is that a financial settlement has officially been made in the Larry Nassar case. His victims are set to receive $380 million after 5 years of trial. And, quote, "the USA Gymnastics and Olympics Committee also agreed to designate some of their board seats to survivors and to implement other new policies aimed to protect athletes from future abuse," unquote. After all this time, it's great to see something positive coming out of this case, finally. And that's all for this week's headlines. Don't forget you can read more details on each by clicking the link in my show notes. If you see any headlines you want covered or have thoughts on this week's, DM me on Instagram at MeganTheMorningPodcast. And I'll be back next week to catch you up on the latest pop culture news. Have a great holiday, everyone. I hope you get everything you want and spread so much joy and cheer. Don't forget to pay it forward.